right, welcome everyone. And today we are going to discuss the topic of riding season is just around the corner. How do New York motorcyclists, especially new riders, how can they prepare and protect themselves in 2026? Welcome to MotoTalks with Mitch Mel, brought to you by the law firm of Proner and Proner, a law firm with a global presence and expertise that feels local and personal. I'm your host and fellow rider, Mel Maguio. We'll be sitting down with a personal injury expert and rider, Mitch Proner, a lawyer with over 30 years of experience and a rider for over 40 years. Answer your questions and share insights you'll find useful in the personal injury world. Now, before we get started, remember all consultations are free and confidential. Reach us at any time at 1-800-321-1234. How are you doing, Mitch?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I went for a ride on Monday, short one. I missed it.
You gotta be careful. There's salt on the road. There's snow out there. You get melting and freezing. It's still tough out there. But good to hear you're riding.
Yeah, well, that's the only bad thing is the fact that with all the salt, I don't have a garage to clean it off, so I'm literally have to scrape that salt physically on my own. So yeah, that's the fun part. But yeah, so like back to the topic, but how can new riders or just riders prepare for this upcoming riding season for 2026, Mitch?
Okay, so here's what I've noticed, having represented motorcycle riders involved in collisions for over 30 years. Unfortunately, there appears to be more accidents in the beginning of the season and also, curiously, at the end of the season. And I think what happens is at the beginning of the season, the riders are rusty. And at the end of the season, they're overconfident.
That makes sense.
And that's my own personal theory, because a lot of times the rider appears to be, the cause of the incidents are usually the same. The car doesn't see him. Somebody's making a left turn in front of the bike, or pulling out from a stop sign or parking lot into the roadway without seeing the bike, switching lanes without seeing the bike. But why does the rider get himself caught in these situations more often at the beginning of the season than at the end? Well, we don't have statistics on that. But what I can say is this. When you're riding, you got to ride like you're invisible, because you are. So that first time you got the bike out, right? You know what you got to do? First off, work with your thumb a little bit. Find out where your horn is.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to your headlights. You might have your brights on your thumb and you got the horn, and it might be all on that same console there. Well, it's not like a car. Even a rental car, people know instinctively to hit the center.
Right.
But with a bike, there's no instinctive thing to go up with your thumb. But that can save your hide. So the first time you get on the bike, just practice going for the thumb. Give me that light horn. Do it 10, 15, 20 times just at the beginning of your ride. And then again, you see people coming out from a stop sign. You see people, give them a little friendly toot. Hip, hip. Practice that. And then you're more likely instinctively to go for it if you're in an emergency stop. Second thing, you got to remember, you work both brakes.
Yeah.
Most of your stopping comes from the front brake. But you got rear brake too. And it's not always easy to control the two. And there's a phenomenon called high siding, where the rear wheel loses traction, then it catches and flips the bike over and the rider goes flying. Third thing, there's a myth out there that if you're going to get involved in a collision, lay the bike down. Well, I think that's a myth, because when you lay the bike down, you've lost all control of it.
Right.
Whereas when you're braking and steering, you might have some control to get yourself out of a situation. Lastly, the best preventative is just to be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. If you can, it's hard. Like in New York, you get on the BQE or the Long Island Expressway or the FDR, or even just going down Second Avenue. You might have cars all over on all sides of you. You might not be able to have that cushion.
Yeah.
But if you can, keep in mind, are you in a vehicle's blind spot? Close to the vehicle on the sides? Behind the driver? So that the mirror doesn't catch you? Especially a lot of people don't even adjust the mirrors correctly.
Yeah.
So if you can, give yourself a cushion of space. Now, that's not going to prevent all accidents. Lastly, if you got you got your foot pegs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or some bikes have floorboards, right?
Right.
Maybe you want to keep your right foot hovering over the brake. And your right hand ready to go to squeeze brake, and
Right.
your left hand ready to squeeze clutch.
Yeah.
And your left foot ready to downshift.
Yeah.
And let off. And so you're ready. Or perhaps if you're in a tight situation, riding in a lower gear than you normally would. So letting off the gas, the engine's going to help slow you down a little bit too.
Yeah. Engine braking, you mean?
It's all these things that might help you out. And then when you see that vehicle that's poised to make that left turn in front of you, don't assume they see you, because they don't. Be careful. They could turn in front of you in the last minute. So you slow down your speed, even though you have the right of way. And you ride like you're invisible, because to these cars you are. The car comes up to a stop sign. They just hesitate, then they go, because they don't see anybody. We do the same thing on our bikes so many times. You go up to a stop sign, right? And how many times you don't even put your feet on the ground?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You don't put your feet on the ground because you look, there's nobody coming. So you just give it gas without even putting your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't put your feet on the ground, you didn't take very long. And if the car does the same thing that you're doing, well, they don't see you. Because you're looking for cars. They got a big profile. They're doing the same thing. They're looking for cars. They're not looking for the bike.
Mm.
And their vision of the bike can be blocked with a pen.
Wow, that's so true.
If they don't, but there's rules of the road that says you're supposed to stop longer. The vehicle has the right of way. They're not obeying the rules of the road just because they didn't see you. They didn't obey the rules of the road, but you're the one that got hurt. And the money that I get the riders is never worth the impairment of their health.
Mm.
They don't cut a check right away while you're in the hospital. They wait till they get your medical records. They want to review their medical records. So you're suffering, you're out of funds, and you got to deal with everything. I'll do my best to get the rider full compensation, fair compensation, but the insurance carriers fight me. Now, they fight me a lot less because they know I try these cases.
Right.
They know I'm not going to roll over, but still, even me, they fight. So you got to do your best when you're out there, especially at the beginning of the season. Do a good inspection of your bike. Look for wheel rot on the tires. That's like, you can look it up on the internet. It happens when a bike's been sitting. Check your brakes. If they're a little spongy, that's not good. Too many people. I've had people, I travel around the country talking to motorcycle rights groups, And sometimes I'll show up at the airport and they say, we got a bike for you. And I'm like, great. And I get on the bike and the brakes are spongy. And I'm like, oh man. So people ride around with that.
That's scary.
But it's not good.
Yeah.
Make sure your brakes are working properly. Make sure the wheels are in good condition. Make sure that all the signals work. All the lights, your blinkers, your headlight. It's important. It could save your life.
Yeah, that's actually a very good, especially for newer riders, Mitch. I mean, I think when we drive a car, we don't go through a check. We just drive. But it's you're so right that it's a higher elevation of paying attention that you need to do with motorcyclists. So those are really great points. What about insurance for like newer riders? If there are brand new riders, anything that they should look into more than standard
Great
insurance?
question. Great question. So a lot of riders, they say, I got full coverage. And they think that's really good. But that might be the minimum liability limits. And then if they have hospital bills, they're not covered. And their full coverage isn't enough to get past that. But if they increase the liability limits and the SUM coverage, SUM is supplemental underinsured motorist, that's more important than full coverage, because full coverage just covers collision and fire and theft. And your bike's probably not going to catch fire. But if you get into an accident, you get hurt, if you increase the limits, you get 100 grand instead of 25. So try and increase your liability and underinsured motorist coverage.
Okay. Do you know if that's something you can even add later if you already have insurance?
You can always add it. You can contact your insurance carrier and say, I need to increase my limits. I want to get increased sum. I want to get 300,000. I want to get $1 million. And see what the numbers cost. You know, if it turns out it's another $10.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from the expert himself, Mitch Proner. If you need our help, you can call us 24/7 at 1-800-321-1234, where all consultations are free and confidential. That's going to wrap it up for now. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's on our podcast or video broadcast. We really do appreciate it. And if you haven't done it yet, please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, share, and please subscribe to get the latest updates. Now, before we go, Mitch, is there anything else you want to add?
If you've had an accident, don't worry about the medical bills. We can help you out with that. Get yourself checked out, head to toe, everything that's bothering you. An undiagnosed injury can be fatal. It's happened in my personal experience to a rider that just didn't realize he was as badly hurt as he was. So get yourself checked out right away, and then call us up, and we'll help you out with the finances, the loss of earnings, the damage to your bike, medical bills, and money for your pain and suffering.
Excellent. Thank you, Mitch. So thank you again, and thank you for taking this time. And thank you all for checking us out. And remember, we ride just like you and are here to help when you need us. We'll see you next time. Thank you again, Mitch.
Thank you, Mel. Be well.
You too.